Most people are destroying their liver every single night, and they do not even know it. Not with alcohol, not with junk food, with the very fruit they were told to eat for their health. And here's the brutal irony. The advice that is circulating right now on social media, shared by millions of well-meaning people, is doing quiet, compounding damage to one of the most hard-working organs in your entire body. Tonight, while you sleep, your liver is supposed to be in full repair mode. It is supposed to be filtering toxins, regulating blood sugar, producing bile, and rebuilding itself. But if you eat the wrong fruit before bed, you are hijacking that entire process. You are flooding your liver with a specific type of sugar that it cannot safely burn while you are at rest. And it has no choice but to convert that sugar directly into fat. And that fat does not go away in the morning. It accumulates quietly for years until one day a blood test comes back with numbers that make your doctor pause. So before we get to the one fruit that actually supports deep overnight liver repair, I need to show you what is going wrong first. Because once you understand the mechanism, you will never look at your evening snack the same way again. Let us talk about your liver for a moment because most people genuinely underestimate what this organ is doing for them around the clock. Your liver performs over 500 distinct metabolic functions. 500. It is not just filtering alcohol or processing medication. It is managing your cholesterol. It is storing glycogen for emergency energy. It is synthesizing proteins that keep your blood from clotting incorrectly. It is breaking down hormones you no longer need. It is manufacturing compounds that your digestive system cannot function without. And critically, it is your first line of defense against everything you eat. Every single thing you consume goes through your liver before it enters your general circulation. Every bite of food, every sip of liquid, every supplement, your liver sees it all and it works through all of it. Now, here's the thing about overnight liver function specifically, and this is where most people go completely wrong. When you fall asleep, your body enters a fasting state. Insulin levels drop, glucagon rises. Your liver shifts from storage mode into repair and detox mode. This is the window, the biological golden hour, where your liver is most actively regenerating its own cells, clearing inflammatory byproducts, and doing the deep maintenance work that keeps it functioning properly for years to come. But that entire shift depends on one critical condition. Your liver must not be dealing with a new flood of incoming sugar at the same moment it is trying to do its overnight maintenance. Now consider this. You have probably heard the advice to eat fruit at night instead of processed desserts. It sounds reasonable. Fruit is natural. Fruit has vitamins. Fruit has fiber. And for the most part, yes, fruit is vastly better than reaching for a cookie or a bowl of ice cream. But here is what that advice leaves out. Not all fruit sugar is metabolized the same way. There is a specific type of sugar found in high concentrations in certain popular fruits. And unlike glucose, which every cell in your body can burn for energy, this particular sugar can only be processed by one organ, your liver. It is called fructose. And when you consume high amounts of fructose right before bed, at the exact moment your liver is trying to downshift into repair mode, you are sending it back to work, not just a little extra work. You are triggering a process called de novo lipogenesis, which is essentially your liver converting that excess fructose into triglycerides into fat because it has nowhere else to put it. And unlike dietary fat, which your body handles differently, this liver-generated fat tends to deposit directly into liver tissue. That is how non-alcoholic fatty liver disease begins. Not from a dramatic event, from a quiet nightly habit, repeated hundreds of times over years. And I want to be honest with you here because this is where it gets a little uncomfortable. The fruits with the highest fructose loads are not the obscure ones. They are the ones being actively promoted as health foods. Mangoes, grapes, cherries, dried fruits like dates and raisins, watermelon. These are the fruits sitting in smoothie bowls on Instagram. These are the fruits in the late-night snack videos. And the people eating them genuinely believe they are doing the right thing. They read a headline that said, "Fruit is healthy." They swap their processed dessert for a big bowl of grapes. And in some sense, yes, that is still an improvement over eating ultra-processed food. But if you are specifically eating these fruits right before bed, repeatedly, You are giving your already tired liver a mountain of fructose to process during the one window in the day when it most needs to be doing something else entirely. But that is only half the story. Because the damage from nightly high fructose fruit intake is not just about fat accumulation. There is a secondary mechanism that almost no one talks about. When your liver is overwhelmed by fructose metabolism late at night, it generates something called uric acid as a byproduct. Elevated uric acid is classically associated with gout, with painful joint inflammation. But what most people do not know is that high uric acid also directly impairs insulin signaling inside the liver. It promotes oxidative stress. It suppresses the production of a compound called adenosine monophosphate, which is critical for cellular energy regulation. And all of this happens during your sleep, while you are lying completely still, while you feel completely fine. You wake up in the morning having no idea that your liver spent the entire night under metabolic stress instead of regenerating the way it was supposed to. And this compounds over time, weeks of it, months of it, years of it, until your liver enzymes start creeping up on a blood panel and a doctor tells you your liver is inflamed. And you genuinely cannot figure out why because you thought you were being healthy. Now, here is where I need to open a door because we have been talking about what not to do, and I know you came here for the solution, and I'm going to give it to you. But I want to make sure you understand one more critical piece of this puzzle before we get there because this specific piece of information is what actually makes the solution work. Your liver has a night cycle that is regulated by something called your circadian clock. Most people know that circadian rhythms affect sleep. What most people do not know is that your liver has its own internal clock, completely separate from your brain's sleep-wake cycle, and it regulates gene expression. It actually turns specific liver genes on and off at specific times of night. Genes related to fat oxidation, genes related to bile production, genes related to cellular autophagy, which is the process where your liver cells clean out damaged proteins and cellular debris. And this liver clock is exquisitely sensitive to food signals. When you eat the wrong things at the wrong time, you do not just add extra metabolic load, you actually scramble the timing of that gene expression. You can throw your liver's circadian program off by hours. And when that happens, the liver's repair cycle gets truncated. It starts late, runs short, and the cellular maintenance work that should have been done gets pushed to the next night, and then the next. And it is never fully caught up. This is why chronobiology researchers have started calling late-night high-sugar eating one of the most underappreciated contributors to metabolic liver disease. The timing matters just as much as the content. So now you understand the full picture. The mechanism of fructose overload, the uric acid problem, the circadian disruption. And the reason that the one fruit I'm about to tell you about is different is not because of some marketing claim or a trending superfood label. It is because its specific nutritional profile actively supports each one of those three mechanisms instead of disrupting them. And I promised you I would tell you what it is at the end. We are almost there. But I want to briefly address something first because someone watching this right now is thinking, I do not even eat fruit at night. So why does this matter to me? And the answer is that fructose is not just in whole fruit, it is in honey. It is in agave syrup, which is actually among the highest fructose substances you can eat. It is in high fructose corn syrup, which is hiding in condiments, sauces, protein bars, flavored yogurts, and dozens of foods that people eat in the evening, thinking they are making reasonable choices. So even if you are not sitting down with a bowl of mangoes at 10 o'clock at night, there is a very real chance you are still consuming enough fructose in the evening hours to create exactly the same problem, scaled slightly differently, but the same mechanism, the same liver disruption, the same slow, silent accumulation of metabolic stress. Now, the fruit. The one fruit that research consistently points to as genuinely beneficial for liver health when consumed in the evening. And this is not a guess. This is grounded in peer-reviewed hepatology and nutritional biochemistry. The answer is kiwi, specifically green kiwi fruit consumed in the 1 to 2 hour window before sleep. And here is why it works on every level we just discussed. First, the fructose profile. Kiwi is one of the lowest fructose fruits in existence. Its sugar content is modest, and critically, The ratio of glucose to fructose is balanced in a way that does not create the lopsided metabolic burden on your liver that high fructose fruits do. Your liver does not have to work overtime processing a fructose flood. It can continue its repair cycle largely uninterrupted. Second, kiwi contains a remarkable concentration of vitamin C, specifically in its ascorbic acid form. And this matters enormously for the liver because vitamin C is a direct precursor to glutathione synthesis. Glutathione is the liver's primary antioxidant. It is the molecule your liver uses to neutralize the oxidative byproducts of detoxification, the reactive oxygen species that build up during the night as your liver processes everything that came through during the day. When your liver has adequate glutathione, it can complete its detox cycle efficiently and without accumulating oxidative damage in its own tissue. When it is depleted, those reactive compounds start damaging the very liver cells that are supposed to be doing the cleanup. Third, and this is the part that genuinely surprised researchers, kiwi contains a unique enzyme called actinidin, along with a specific profile of serotonin precursors that has been shown in clinical trials, actual randomized controlled trials, to improve sleep quality measurably. Adults who consumed 2 kiwis approximately 1 hour before bed fell asleep faster, slept more continuously, and reached deeper stages of slow-wave sleep compared to control groups. And why does that matter for your liver? Because deep sleep is when growth hormone is released. And growth hormone is one of the most powerful signals your body uses to trigger liver cell regeneration. Better sleep quality is not just about how you feel in the morning. It is about whether your liver actually gets to complete its full overnight repair cycle. Deeper sleep means a longer, more complete biological maintenance window for your liver. The kiwi is essentially addressing the sleep quality piece and the direct liver nutrition piece simultaneously. Fourth, kiwi contains a meaningful amount of folate and vitamin K1, both of which are involved in liver methylation processes, the biochemical reactions that your liver uses to regulate gene expression, detoxify hormones, and manage inflammatory signaling. And remember what we talked about earlier regarding the liver's circadian gene clock. These methylation processes are part of how that clock stays calibrated. When you support liver methylation consistently, you are essentially helping your liver's internal timing system stay accurate night after night. The repair cycle starts on time, runs its full course, and you wake up with a liver that has actually done its job. And here is the final piece, the one that ties everything together. Kiwi also contains prebiotic fiber, specifically pectin and other polysaccharides, that feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut microbiome. And your gut microbiome has a direct bidirectional communication pathway with your liver called the gut-liver axis. When your gut bacteria are healthy and diverse, they produce short-chain fatty acids that signal your liver to reduce inflammation and maintain healthy bile acid metabolism. When your gut is dysbiotic, when the bad bacteria outpace the good, those bacteria produce lipopolysaccharides, inflammatory compounds that travel straight from your gut to your liver through the portal vein and trigger a low-grade chronic inflammatory response in liver tissue. Night after night of feeding beneficial gut bacteria with prebiotic fiber from something like kiwi means you are also reducing the inflammatory load coming into your liver from the gut. You are attacking the problem from multiple directions at once. So the full picture is this: 2 kiwis, roughly an hour before sleep. Low fructose load so you do not hijack your liver's repair window. High vitamin C to support glutathione and antioxidant defense. Serotonin precursors and actinidin to improve sleep depth and extend the liver's regeneration window. Folate and vitamin K1 to support liver methylation and circadian gene regulation. And prebiotic fiber to lower gut-driven liver inflammation through the gut-liver axis. One small, inexpensive, widely available fruit, doing 5 distinct jobs for your liver overnight, every single night. That is not a supplement. That is not a protocol. That is just understanding what your liver actually needs and giving it to you in the simplest possible form. Your liver has been working for you every day of your life without asking for anything in return. The least you can do is stop disrupting it at night and start actively supporting it instead. If this changed the way you think about something you are doing without question, then do the single most powerful thing you can do right now. Share this with someone who needs to hear it and subscribe, because the next video in this series covers the one common morning habit that is silently spiking your liver enzymes before you even eat breakfast. You do not want to miss that one.